and I will be ready. My family loves it here, and my part-time service means we get to stay here.
Serve part-time in the community you live in as a proud member of the Army National Guard. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard, aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sportsman. In high school basketball, the Huntsville Crimson Panthers capture the 42nd edition of the Huntsville City Classic. They down Oxford 57-46. Evan Toms named MVP of the tournament. College football news, the Alabama Crimson Tide arrived yesterday in Los Angeles as they continue to prepare for their college football playoff quarterfinal against Indiana. In the Rose Bowl, offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb on the Tide's run game.
Kind of started earlier. We got to stop doing this first quarter shenanigans, waiting to get the run game going until the second and third quarter. We're capable of doing it earlier in the game. We got good enough players.
Indiana, a 7-point favorite. Kickoff set for January 1st, 3 p.m. Auburn wide receiver Cam Coleman has entered the transfer portal. Coleman in 2 seasons on the Plains, over 1,300 yards receiving and 13 touchdowns. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Long-term truck and SUV buyers wait all year for this moment because they know the year-end deals are worth the wait. Hi, folks. Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford, and these are the final days of our year-end sales event. We've got nearly 700 new Fords ready for you, and all 25 models come with an additional $1,000 final days bonus cash. Drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 0% for 60 months. Explorer, Escape, Transit Van, and the Lightning. Or choose one of our 0-down 36-month leases starting at just $349 on our most popular models. Plus 2 years of complimentary maintenance. First payment due at signing, no security deposit, plus tax, tag, title, and fees with approved credit. Offer ends 12/31. This is as good as it gets. No payments for 90 days, 0% for 60 months, and no money down, $349 leases. The end of the year is here, and we've got the deals that make that wait worthwhile. Only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Don Wessels, and we can't wait to see you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
From 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Let's party!
Joe Hunk. John Abraham. 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
Hello and welcome back into the show. John Abraham, Joe Hunk with you guys. 2 hours straight of sports talk, goose gaps, and so much more here on a surprise Tuesday edition of the show. And golly, I thought that we already did our last show of the year. I'm not 100% sure what's going on, but either way, we had to come back and tell you guys all about what's going on this weekend in sports, as well as what we might have missed and what we got to just catch up on, and possibly just plug a few other things so you guys know what's going on here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. But first things first, I got to see if Joe's doing well over there. Joe, you all right? You over there at UAH again?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I got you. All right. You sound all right. I mean, it's not the best quality, but I mean, it sounds pretty good for that.
Not the best quality. This is literally the setup that we have for every single basketball game. What are you talking about?
Oh, then it's the greatest of quality. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, this is the one that we literally use all the time. It's the reason why I'm doing it.
Well, you sound good. You look good. And how was your Christmas, my friend? Because we haven't really talked too much since our last show about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, Christmas was great. It was one of those that honestly, that was the first time that it was. I was more excited about all the gifts that the kids were getting than anything that was happening with us and with myself. So that was fun. But I mean, heck, there really wasn't a Christmas break. I mean, we went all the way up until I believe what was it, the 22nd? I want to say was our last show.
Yeah,
And then
so.
and then right after that, I mean, we hopped right into the Huntsville City Classic. So I mean, there really wasn't a break from anything for this entire week. So it was a break in the sense, but it was definitely not a break whatsoever. I think I had like 6 Christmases that we went to as a family. Christmas was a little bit different for parts of my family this year, so that was a unique experience. But the crazy thing is on Sunday afternoon we had Christmas and we were all outside opening up presents, and I'm going,
yeah,
what the heck, man? Yeah. It's like 70 degrees. We're all outside. This is garbage. I mean, this is just, come on. Like, and then the very next day we're back to 30. So yeah, it was fun. It was a fun night.
Yeah, I bet it felt like a little bit like a Hawaiian Christmas, where you're able to go outside. You don't have to worry about any snow or the cold.
Yeah. Minus the palm trees.
Like, minus the palm trees. It was an amazing weekend weather-wise, just for it to turn around, have a little bit of rain, and now it's back to like 20 degrees outside.
This is what I like. This is what I want. This is how the whole thing goes, man. I want Christmas, and I want it to be freezing cold. I think my wife and I, every single night before we got the kids down, we kind of did like a little Christmas movie night. And so we were all sitting in the living room, and on Christmas Eve, we watched the new Home Alone movie, like
nice.
The one that's actually connected to the other two, where like Buzz is a police officer, and the McAllisters are, right. All this stuff. So
I heard those movies were trash, though.
No, the first two are trash. The first two are trash. I should say the first two after Macaulay Culkin is not involved. Absolutely garbage. I honestly think there's supposed to be like 5 or 6 sequels, but they're mostly garbage. The latest one that came out, I want to say either last year or 2 years ago. I mean, it's cute. I mean, it's it's very modern. That's kind of it. But in the end, it's kind of a good feel good. But the biggest part about it was they're in this subdivision where there was like 2 feet of snow outside, and my wife goes, I know it's 70 outside, but just for Christmas, man, it would be awesome to wake up to like 2 feet of snow and actually feel like Christmas.
Yeah.
Instead of it feeling like we were hanging out in Miami somewhere for Christmas. It was a little bit different. So that's mine. I want it snowing on Christmas.
I got you. Well, my Christmas is great. I got to hang out with a lot of the family. I got to hang out with my brother extensively. We watched a movie called Claus. Like it was something. It was an interesting movie I've never heard of. And he showed me it, and it's about like the backstory of Santa Claus and all that stuff. It's a really good film, and you should watch it with the kids at that, because it is a very good animated film. So that's going to be my Christmas suggestion to you guys, even though it's over now. I got myself a nice, nifty little jack stand for my car, as well as a jack in the first place. So now I can work on my brand new Mustang. I'm very excited about all of that stuff. Other than that, still have some Christmas gifts to give out. We got an extra Christmas with the rest of the family in January, and hopefully maybe the transfer portal will give me some presents as well, as that gets kicked off on the 2nd. And Joe, it's happened. They finally pulled the trigger, and a guy that is about as reliable as like bread and butter, it's there when you need it, has officially entered the transfer portal, and that is Cam Coleman from the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, and it sucks because obviously Cam Coleman, you have all these thoughts about with Coleman and how this football team is, that you were just going, man, if Coleman comes back with the way that this offense is looking, then you're going to be able to possibly do a lot. But last year he had over 700 yards receiving, he had 5 touchdowns. And you probably say he obviously could have had a lot more based on who was throwing him the football.
Yeah.
He is going to be hands down the number 1 wide receiver, or maybe even the number 1 player that is in the transfer portal going in. And look, I'm not saying that this is something that Auburn is automatically already out of, but it goes back to the contract. I don't know how the wording of the contract is, but there could be something when it comes to the verbiage of a contract now that says, hey, we will not, renegotiate with you. The only way out of this contract is by entering the portal.
Yeah.
And, it could be one of those where he's entering the portal, but he's just doing so that Auburn and him can renegotiate a new NIL clause, an NIL deal. There could be a lot of things to it, but no, if you look at Coleman, he literally is going to have the pick of any team he wants to go to.
No doubt.
I mean, it could be Alabama, it could be Florida, it could be Ohio State, it could be any other team that's in the college football playoff right now. He is going to be able to go and play with, any quarterback that he wants to, any offense that he wants to. And honestly, like, you just look around and even the number 1 and 2 and 3 passing offenses in the country, if you start looking at the Power Fives, it's Ole Miss, there's Baylor, Tennessee, USC, TCU. Like, those were the top passing offenses in college football last year. And if that's the direction he's wanting to get, where he gets more, if he gets more opportunities, and so be it. But that's the other part about the Golish offense is he's going to get his opportunities in that offense. So I'm going to sit back and not going to freak out and think that he's automatically gone. But if he is going to come back to Auburn, they're going to have to up his NIL big time, because this guy could go into next season and by the end of the year be considered one of the top 5 draft picks.
Yeah, and he would still have a year after that even. I mean, there's a lot
if he wants to.
If he wants to. Again, this is a wide receiver. If he finds a lot of success early, he could definitely jump ship to the NFL, get himself some good draft stock, and be off and rolling. But at the same time, this is a new age of college football where you can stay, and if you are a highly touted player that everybody wants to get their hands on, you can make a lot of money, a lot more money than you would make in the NFL in your first 2 years, as we've seen reports come out from guys like Cam Scadaboo and Puka Nacua about the amount of money they've made. These guys are already making more money than those rookie quarterbacks, or those rookie players. But it's interesting because, now you're thinking, well, Auburn's got to reload. Who are they going to possibly try and grab in the transfer portal? And one guy that Alex Golish is very familiar with, Byron Brown, has also entered into the transfer portal. And a lot of hype is starting to build up around him possibly following Golish to Auburn. And I want to know from your opinion, Joe, how big of a pickup that would be, because I know you're definitely locked in on anything Alex Golish has touched in the past.
Well, and I think that you can see it with Brown and the way that he played last season with USF. He's a very smart quarterback. He's been able to make good decisions, which is the biggest thing that Auburn needs, and he has the ability to stretch the field. Those are things that you look at in a quarterback, and you want to know, one, is he a great leader? Well, everything that we've seen so far, he has been, and he's already been working in Golish's system, so that sets up good for him. The thing is that I'm still a huge believer in Deuce Knight, and I do believe that, even if Brown were to come to Auburn, that Deuce Knight, depending on his situation, that could cause him to enter the transfer portal afterwards so that he could go somewhere. I think that with everything that's happening at Auburn, if Brown comes in, would Auburn be in a better situation quarterback-wise as a whole? Absolutely. But they're also still going to need wide receivers. And I know that when you look at Coleman's going to be gone, Simmons, I believe, is also going to be entering the portal as well. Howard is going to be staying as of right now from everything that we have been told. And so, this wide receiver room that used to have a lot of depth to it, you're going to be losing your top 3 wide receivers. So that's also going to be a point of emphasis. Obviously you want to get Cam Coleman back, but part of that is going to be what you're going to do at quarterback. I don't think anybody can argue that you want to bring Brown in just because he knows the system. He could start day one and he could get Auburn right on the right foot. But I still believe that Deuce Knight, if given the reins, could be the starting quarterback and could still be one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the nation next year.
No doubt about it. We got a lot of conversation to get in around the playoffs, as well as Zach Osterman's going to be joining us from the Indystar. He's going to give us the Indiana Hoosiers side of things, but he also loves the South. He knows a lot about this area, and it'll be a perfect time to bring him up on the show in this upcoming segment. Later on the show, though, we will have Drew DeArmond, presented by Mercury Motors at Alumni Hall. He's going to be hopping on, giving us a little bit of the Alabama side of things, as well as covering anything else we may have missed, including that wonderful Huntsville City Classic that came to an end just last night. I got there. I was in. attendance. And let me tell you, there were not a lot of seats, but I was in attendance, Joe.
Look, I'm telling you, look, as this is one of those where you see the memes now that are kind of going around TikTok and Instagram is like, one day somebody is going to tell you that blah, blah, blah. And you go, and it says it's important that you don't listen. It's important that you do listen. Yeah. All right. So this is going to be it. One day somebody is going to tell you that regardless to if you have a dog in the fight, you need to go to the Huntsville City Classic. If you are just a lover of basketball, you need to go. And I know that it was packed. Last night, I saw your video. I saw everything, that we posted on 97.7. But for the semifinal matchup, when you had Mae Jemison, Sparkman, Huntsville, and Oxford all going at it in the semifinals, it wasn't standing room only. It was like downtown at a club at 1 a.m. where you're not even moving. Whatever spot you chose when the game's tipped off, that is where you were for the next 4 hours, because it was shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow. Nobody was moving. It took me 20 minutes because I was getting there for the semifinal. It took me 20 minutes to walk back in to get to our spot where we broadcasted from, and that was 45 minutes before tip-off. That's how packed this thing was on Saturday night. So, look, I'm telling you, this is some of the best basketball that you will see in the state of Alabama. I could even argue that this is maybe even better than the Final 48 that you'll see in Birmingham. You could also see where there's matchups against players like the Oxford that we're talking about, Jalen Alexander. We talked a lot about him. He's a Belmont commit, which is unique because obviously we have a head coach that's about to be down on the court here at UAH. It's from Belmont.
Yep.
But it was him versus Hale County, and Hale County had a commit to Oklahoma. Not like Oklahoma, community college, like he was going Boomer Sooner. And Jalen Alexander took that personally, and it was one of those games where he was like, birds in the air, I'm going to show you that I'm SEC caliber, and he just went off. And it was extremely fun to watch those two players go at it at times on the court. Like, those are the types of matchups that you're going to see in the Classic. You have to go to it. You've got to.
No doubt. And we appreciate TOC Sports as well as Brian Bank and everybody else who was sponsoring and a part of that event. It was very fun, always very successful, and it's just getting bigger. Huntsville's going to need a bigger arena. That's all I got to say.
Oh, look, I'm telling you.
If this thing's going to grow anymore, they need a bigger arena.
No, and that's me. I was sitting and I'm watching this, and obviously for the some of the early games, yes, there's going to be seats available and all of that, but when you start getting to the semifinals and the finals between Sparkman and Huntsville, that was a basketball game that those two are going to see each other at least 2, maybe 3 more times this season. Whenever you hear that Huntsville and Sparkman are playing each other, you need to go watch them play, because that matchup alone was so intense. And I mean, every single second of that basketball game, you were on the edge of your seat trying to see what was about to happen. It was amazingly fun, and those are 2 area opponents, and it was awesome to watch them go at it. It was a great tournament. Do not miss it. This is your time. Next year, be there for the 44th.
Yeah, and if you did miss it, I know it stinks. You missed out, but I'll tell you one thing. If you don't want to miss out on some great deals, you head over to our Big Zone Deals site, and you guys can snag all of the deals for the end of the year sale that we're having over there. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. Go and check it out right now. Find something new or find something that you know of and roll with it all the way until the end of the year. And on top of that, this show is always presented to you by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online at FlemingHSV.com and fill out your free quote today. We got to hit a break. When we come back, Zach Osterman's going to be joining us from the Indystar to tell us a little bit about these Hoosiers and what Alabama fans should be worried about coming up this Thursday. It's so weird. Such a weird schedule. That's what's coming up here on the Blitz on 97.7, ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV. We'll get to your phone call, too, at 256-576-4997.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. And right now, they have their year-end inventory clearance sale on. All in stock and floor model items are at the best prices of the year. If it's in stock, it's on sale. Get your favorite brands: Whirlpool, Bosch, Maytag, GE, Viking, and more, all at the cheapest prices that you'll see all year. Mike wants you to get in on the savings now. So get into the highly interactive showroom in Lacey Springs, just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Alabama anglers, this is Crappie Dan. You need to gear up for the largest fishing expo in state history. January 16th through the 18th in Coleman. Experience top brands, pro seminars, and live demos under one roof. Shop rods, reels, tackle, grab exclusive show-only deals, and get insider tips from pros like me. Plus, every ticket enters you to win a Ranger RT 18-foot boat. For more information, go to ultimatefishingexpo.com. The Ultimate Fishing Expo, January 16th through the 18th in Coleman.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Another cold night across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures dropping into the mid and upper 20s. A mostly sunny sky for your New Year's Eve. We are going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing consistently into the upper 40s and lower 50s, dropping into the lower 30s as we head into the overnight early Thursday morning. A partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 50s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back into the Blitz. John Abraham, Joe Hunk. 2 hours straight of Sports Talk Goose and Gas with you guys on the final show of the year. We're not back.
We think.
This is the final show of the year, I think.
I don't know. So real quick, before how you said earlier, you don't know how this happened. The way it happened is Steve and I were talking over the weekend while we were at the Huntsville City Classic, and we were going through the schedule.
Yeah.
And I was like, so like, what is the rundown? Because he was talking to me about Alabama and all the stuff that's going on with them and all the shows that's happening. And I was like, well, on Tuesday is Talkin' Ball doing their show? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, is Tom doing his? He said, yeah. Said, well, okay, well, if they're doing theirs, there's no reason for us not to do one as well, since we're going into the college football playoff. So yeah, there's that. And also, I have no idea after that because I was so focused on today. I don't really know when the next show is going to be, whether it'll be on the 2nd or what. I'm not 100% sure. So we're flying by the seat of our pants on this. That's why I'm doing this today from UAH because the basketball team, the women's team, has a game today coming up in a few hours. So I'm already here getting ready for it.
Well, we're not the only ones busy. Of course, a lot of guys who cover their teams are now traveling to their respected bowl games. And one of them joins us now, Zach Osterman from Indystar, and he is focused on the Hoosiers. And that means he's down in Pasadena, which is quite a far drive, but he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Zach, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, how we doing? Thanks for having me.
Well, it's always great to have you. Appreciate you hopping on with us. I know you're probably in a hotel room right now getting stuff ready because there's a lot of Indiana conversation going on today. As we got a game in just a few days to really solidify what's happening in the playoffs, and it's Alabama versus Indiana. It's going to be on our airways. But there's a lot of conversation going on right now about this Indiana team and of course, Heisman Trophy winner. Talk a little bit about what this team has to do after a little bit of an extended break before getting back into football, with their last game being as big as it was against Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean that might be. I mean, and listen, Indiana has kind of fallen all over itself to praise Alabama, to make it to avoid the bulletin board material and all that. And I think Alabama is going to present Indiana some real challenges. But I think that dealing with the layoff is maybe the foremost concern for Indiana at this point. I think there is an extent to which it helped. I mean, Indiana played, I think, 8 of the last 9 weeks of the season. There were obviously some really physical games in there. You talk about the Oregon game. You talk, of course, about the Ohio State game. Indiana's been banged up. There's a couple pieces that probably won't be back for this game. Stephen Daly, most notably. And so I think that the time, to sort of rest and recover, and then also maybe kind of scheme some things, to cover for, guys that will not in all likelihood play in this game, or maybe even the rest of the season, period. I think that's been beneficial. But I think any time that you have that long of a layoff, you mentioned the Heisman, the Big Ten championship game. There's been about as much sort of external noise and distraction as is probably possible for a football team this time of year. I think first and foremost, the thing that probably is making Chris Ignetti anxious is just wanting to know, what does my team look like when we get out there on the field? Mm-hmm. Is there any kind of lag time? Do we need a little while to get the engine firing again? Or is it just kind of, hey, business as usual, we pick up right where we left off?
Yeah, no doubt. And this is the farthest they've gone west since that game against Oregon. And kind of talk about that drive for you, or the flight, whatever you did to get over there. What was going through your mind, as well as this is a pretty big deal for Indiana. They haven't had to travel too far for a bowl game, especially this proportion. I would say ever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Rose Bowl obviously has some similar to the Sugar Bowl with the SEC, has always had a very sort of significant cultural importance to the Big Ten. I think, particularly for programs like Indiana, and I don't say that in a demeaning way. Listen, Indiana's won 25 games in a Big Ten title in the last 2 years. So, I'm not treating this team like it's small time anymore. But where the Rose Bowl probably gets to be old hat for an Ohio State fan base, or a Michigan fan base, or at various points of Wisconsin or a Penn State. For the Indianas, the Purdues, the Northwesterns, the Illinois, getting that trip to Pasadena was very meaningful, historically. And, I don't know that this Indiana team is that worried about this, but this is the last year of the Big Ten tie-in. From here on out, the Rose Bowl is just going to fall into the playoff pool, just like everybody else. And so there is maybe in some IU fans' minds, I think, a little bit of sort of poetic symmetry to the idea that, the last Rose Bowl is their chance to kind of grab that last. Not that a national championship isn't part of the ambition, but there are only a small handful of programs in any given season that are allowed to start the year saying anything less than a national championship is a disappointment. Like for most programs, not just the Indianas or if you think about the SEC, the Vanderbilts or the Mississippi States, but even Michigan State, even frankly, even like an Oregon. A national championship is still kind of an abstract concept until you get there. I think the idea of winning a Rose Bowl, though, is something that Indiana fans could feel like they would aspire to, annually if they could get a good program. And I think this would be kind of the last box ticked, so to speak.
Well, and Zach, you were talking just a minute ago about the layover and the layoff that they have had since the Big Ten championship. I mean, look, this is no surprise we're going into this, and everybody's going to remember what happened last season, where obviously all the teams that played in the opening round then went into the next round and won all of those games. Is there been any consideration about what was happened last year and how teams did that as compared to what happened and what coach is doing this year to get ready for the Rose Bowl to make sure it doesn't happen to Indiana?
I mean, I would be shocked if Kurt Cignetti hadn't explored it at some level. I'm sure that's not something he's going to share with us. It's probably fair to point out that because we had that weird, sort of ranking versus seeding system last year, a couple of those, teams that got byes were really lower seeded than the teams that beat them. And so that could be a bit of a misnomer. But I think, we have this conversation with the baseball playoffs every year now because of the bye. And we say, is this helpful? How do you navigate it? How do you keep from, to keep torturing the metaphor, how do you keep the engine from going cold when you're off for such a long time after such a long season? And I don't think he's going to share with us exactly, how he's navigating this. I would be surprised if Kurt Cignetti had not had some conversations with different people who maybe, whether it's a bowl layoff, because it's worth pointing out Kurt Cignetti's never coached in a bowl game before. Wow. He's coached in at least not in what we would traditionally think of as an FBS bowl game. I'm not sure if there have been at the Division II level or whatever, but typically he has been, and maybe this is a little bit to Indiana's advantage as well. His experience is in a playoff structure, from Division II to the FCS to he had back-to-back winning seasons at JMU, but they couldn't take him to a bowl game their first year, and the second year he got the IU job, and then last year Indiana played Notre Dame in South Bend. So there's an extent to which maybe that works in Indiana's favor. But I think, he would probably feel like he was not doing his due diligence if he hadn't had, those conversations with someone to some extent to say, hey, what if any lessons did we learn from, the teams that just couldn't quite kind of get back up to full speed in time in the first round last year?
Well, and part of that, we also know defense travels. Like, that's the whole thing, is I know that people are going to be looking at Fernando Mendoza, and we always know, like, the Heisman winner after winning the Heisman, you always kind of judge how they do in the bowl game or now the playoff. But the defense, on the other hand, this defense has only given up 13 touchdowns all season long. What about it with this defense and this secondary that has as many interceptions as they do? It is going to benefit Indiana going into that they do have that confidence, even though they're going up against, big bad Alabama.
Yeah, I don't want to oversimplify with Indiana's defense. They're incredibly gap sound. They are so stiff against the run. I think they've only allowed more than something like 3.7 yards per carry once this season, and that was the first game of the year against Old Dominion, and that was because they allowed 2 long quarterback runs. Old Dominion didn't take a snap across the 50 in that game. They shut down the run. They pressure the passer exceptionally well. They are one of the best teams in the country in havoc rate, in fact, tackles for loss consistently. And then they do a really good job of, once they put you into sort of disadvantageous situations where you're one-dimensional, you feel like you got to throw the ball. Not necessarily just because it's 3rd and 9 or 2nd and 10, but also because you've seen, your last 3 or 4 runs just get completely stuffed. And so you feel like we've got to pivot to the pass game. Once they get there, they disguise coverages really well. Again, they bring pressure really well. They stay very disciplined. They don't, kind of break contain a lot, which of course is going to be important in a game like this against Ty Simpson. And then, they just, when the opportunities are there, they don't turn them down to make plays. And again, I don't mean to oversimplify it, but they're just an incredibly sound defense. They don't do a lot of gimmicky stuff. Now, there is the question of Stephen Daly, who led the nation in tackles for loss, despite the fact that he really didn't become a full-time sort of rotation guy until midway through the season. He is almost certainly out for this game, and they're going to have to kind of sort of, there's probably going to be a little bit of next man up. There's probably going to be a little bit of, hey, we're going to throw some odd fronts in. We're going to move some guys around, play them in some positions that we haven't before. There's going to be a few different solutions to not having Daly, who had replaced Kellen Wyatt, who was a really, really good edge for them before he was lost mid-season to a season-ending injury. So, that piece of it is piling up a little bit, and they're going to have to figure that out. But I mean, they're just, they are an incredibly sort of disciplined, sound defense that schemes up a lot of havoc and pressure. And I think that, in particular with Daly out, if Alabama fans are looking for kind of a position group to watch, Indiana's linebackers are really, really good. And they have a lot of faith in playing all 3 of them. A lot of teams now will only play 2 backers at a time because, 3 wide sets and spread offenses and things like that. Indiana will play all 3 together. Isaiah Jones, Aiden Fisher, and Elijah Hardy. And they're not afraid of, kind of winding up in situations where they're in a 4-3 base and the other team's got 3 wide receivers on the field. And those 3 guys are all really good in coverage. They're all really sort of sound in their ability to sort of read and communicate, offensive tendencies to their teammates, and they'll all make plays. Fisher is the best tackler on the team. Jones is Indiana's second leading tackler in terms of tackles for loss, and Hardy, who is probably kind of been the most unsung of the 3, is Indiana's leading tackler this season. So, it is just a really good defense. I mean, I know that's not overly scientific, but I've covered some Indiana defenses in the past that have had success, but where you sort of felt like you could explain that, listen, they're going to make some mistakes and there are some holes here, but what they do is they really capitalize on, certain specific weaknesses or tendencies. This is just a really, really good defense. I mean, they held Oregon to 64 yards of total offense in the second half in Eugene. They did not allow Ohio State to score in the last 40 minutes of the Big Ten championship game. It's just a really, really good defense.
Zach Osterman from the Indystar, live from Pasadena with us here on the Blitz. And of course, I'm glad that you talked a little bit about that next man up. I wanted to get into the injury report, but you already kind of tackled it. But going on to the offensive side, the one thing you could look at with that Oklahoma-Alabama matchup was the lack of running from both teams. Oklahoma doesn't have a good running game, but now whenever you're looking at Indiana, you're still trying to look at some of the holes in the offense or the defense, and it's not really apparent. I mean, whether it's Hemby or Black, both of these guys have run for over 600 to 700 yards, and they're looking really good. How big of a factor is that running game against this Crimson Tide team this week?
I guess the best way to say it is, if it is a meaningful factor, I think it's going to be very hard for Alabama to win the game. And if it's not, then I think Alabama's got a shot. But if we get to the end of that game and, Indiana's rushed for 175 plus and, maybe 4.5 yards a carry or better, that's sort of one of those markers that I would look at and say, I think that's Alabama's going to have trouble on a day like that. And I recognize this is heresy in North Alabama. There is a Saban-esque quality to the way Indiana runs the football. And what I mean by that is, especially those earlier Saban teams at Alabama where they wouldn't necessarily come out and just start popping explosives on you left and right, but they would just lean on you, and they'd lean on you and lean on you. And 3-yard gains in the first quarter would become 5-yard gains in the second quarter, would become 7-yard gains in the third quarter. And by the time you got to the fourth quarter, your defense was exhausted and you couldn't get the offense off the field. And, one back had 120 yards and the other one had 75. and it just wore you out basically. And that's what this team has been. They've put up some. Now listen, to their best rushing performances, understandably, have come against some pretty bad rushing defenses. But when they have put up numbers on the ground this season, and even in a game like Oregon where they don't necessarily run the ball, hyper effectively, sort of for all four quarters, what they have done is just consistently, kind of lean into teams, wear teams down, and then grab enough explosive plays, enough sort of chunk yards that they extend a drive, or they flip field position, or they use the run game at very least to stay in control of the game, to maybe turn 3 points into 7 points, or turn a punt into 3 points. And the Indiana's run game is almost like, I don't mean to make it sound like death by a thousand paper cuts, but it's like, it is something that is, if they're doing it well, is incredibly cumulative over the course of a game. And then you look back in the fourth quarter and you say this team is just exhausted because Indiana has been able to lean into them with the run all game.
Well, Zach, before we wrap up with you, because we talked a lot about every side of the football here, but at some point in time in the fourth quarter, there's going to be a point in time where somebody's got to step up. There's going to be a timeout, and there's going to be a coach that looks at somebody, and they're going to say, this is your moment. You've got to go ahead and take it. You've got a Heisman winner on the offense. You've got multiple All-Americans on this team. You've got a defense that has players in the secondary that are in the top 5 in the country in interceptions. Who is going to be that player that has to have it and be in that moment and make that decisive play that's going to win Indiana the game on Thursday?
I mean, it's probably, I would say, some combination of the players that have done it all season, which is Fernando Mendoza, Elijah Surratt, and Omar Cooper. And obviously, casual fans will remember Cooper's the one that makes that sort of spectacular catch in the back of the end zone in the Penn State game. And Surratt didn't play in that game. He had a hamstring injury. But Surratt is the one that catches what turns out to be the game-winning touchdown pass against Iowa, against Oregon, and against Ohio State. And it is consistently when Indiana needed a moment. And not, the Iowa touchdown was in the, late in the fourth quarter. The Ohio State touchdown was in the third quarter. The Oregon touchdown was, I think, midway through the fourth quarter. So it's not like these were all dramatic moments, the Cooper catch, notwithstanding. But it's more that the moments that have separated for Indiana this season have typically been, the Hoosiers Heisman Trophy winning quarterback against one of their 2 all Big Ten wide receivers. And both of those, they're different players, Cooper and Surratt. Cooper's more explosive, a little bit more of a vertical downfield threat. Surratt is just incredibly difficult to cover one-on-one. His technique is really good. His attention to detail is really good. He's got great hands. But those 2 guys have consistently, when their quarterback has needed them to make a play this season, have been there for him. And I think that if it's 24-24 and, Indiana's facing 36 from the Alabama 13, it's going to one of those 2 guys in all likelihood. And I'm saying that now, and it'll be somebody else. It'll be Riley Nowakowski or Charlie Becker or whoever. But, what history of this season has told us is it's Fernando Mendoza to one of those top 2 wide receivers. Those have been the guys that have come through in kind of the most meaningful moments.
Well, if anybody's got an idea of what's going to happen, it is you, Zach Osterman from the Indystar. Zach, we appreciate your time. Know you're very busy over there in California. I just hope it's warmer there than it is over here in Huntsville.
It's in the 50s right now, but I know it's cold in North Alabama this time of year. So
yeah, it's a little ridiculous. But appreciate you, man, and safe travels and enjoy the game on Thursday, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Always great to talk with Zach Osterman from the Indystar. Go and check him out over on X. It is Zach Osterman, Osterman. That is where you can find him, get all the intel from Indiana's perspective. We will be talking Alabama's perspective in the second hour, but we want to know your guys' opinions. You want to react to that? You can. 256-576-97.7 as we take it to the final segment of the first hour here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, ESPN Winchester, and WZZN TV.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's Feast in Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Falcons beating the LA Rams 27-24 on Monday night, improving to 7-9. They'll close out the regular season on Sunday at home against the New Orleans Saints. Kirk Cousins with a touchdown pass to Bijan Robinson, and Robinson ran for 195 yards and had a rushing score as well. Falcons defense also intercepted Matt Stafford 3 times, returning one for a touchdown. Sunday, the Falcons are a 3-point favorite against New Orleans, minus 162 on the money line. The Saints plus 136, and the over-under 43.5. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. It's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
California, here we come.
The Crimson Tide, the Indiana Hoosiers, New Year's Day, the Rose Bowl.
The Tide advances to play top-seeded Indiana.
The road to the national title continues. Live from Pasadena, California, our coverage begins at noon on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Johnson & Hayes Physical Therapy was built on treating athletes, and today we treat so much more. Whether you're a high school competitor, weekend warrior, or recovering from surgery, Johnson & Hayes pairs you with a dedicated therapist for one-on-one consistent care. We offer specialized programs in sports rehab, neurological therapy, pelvic health, post-concussion care, and more. Founded by lifelong athletes, trusted by top physicians across Alabama, Johnson & Hayes delivers results. Visit johnsonandhayes.com and get back to what you love.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your Fox 54 weather.
Current Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon, but it is definitely going to be chilly. We're totally done with the 70s. Temperatures only climbing into the upper 30s, lower 40s, dropping into the mid and upper 20s as we head into the overnight early Wednesday morning. A mostly sunny sky for your New Year's Eve. We are going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing into the upper 40s, lower 50s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
I'm ready. Welcome back into the show. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. ESPN Winchester will have this for a few more minutes, but if you guys have the app downloaded or you're following us over on social media, on X, on Facebook, even on YouTube or possibly Instagram, you guys can get the rest of the show. So make sure you guys head on over to those respected sites and give us a follow. You won't miss out on anything. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We do have phone lines to get to, so let's get into that as we start off with Wolverine Dan. Wolverine Dan, how was your weekend, man?
Well, Merry Christmas, ladies. Merry Christmas to you guys. I hope you all got everything you wanted.
Yes. Healthy family. That's
yes. Yeah. That basically, you are correct.
I feel the same way. Now, with that said, let's add a little cherry on top of that. Let's start with my Detroit Red Wings. They're first place in the Atlantic Division. Overtime win against Toronto Maple Leafs. That's pretty outstanding. And they're playing really well. All right. And then let's talk a little bit about my Michigan Wolverine basketball team. How about that? 40 points. 40 points again. They're winning by 40 and 50 points. Like 40 against Gonzaga a while back. This team is number 2 in the nation, should be number 1. I don't think there's a team could beat us, to be honest with you. I want to play Alabama.
Yeah,
Alabama's 20th in the nation.
Competition's got to amp up a little bit for them. But, yeah, big wins left and right for Michigan.
Whoa. Gonzaga's not good competition?
Well, Gonzaga was earlier on. I think that was a great win for them. I think it's more impressive the amount of points that they're putting up consistently against some of these teams. But, again, we're looking at the McNeese, the La Salles, and, all of those schools. But, I mean, yeah, some big wins. I do believe Michigan's the real deal. But, again, we got to get into that real competition. And with the Big Ten, it's going to be, day after day, tough teams. And that's a tough test.
Here's the deal. Right now, as I see it right now, the Big Ten's better than the SEC when it comes to basketball. All right? Right now.
Okay.
And the same thing in bowl games. You guys are only 2-4, and then Big Ten's 5-0.
Yeah. I did see that.
That's not good.
And I want to know.
You still count bowl games?
That's what I'm saying. I want to know how much the Southeast fans are actually worried about the bowl games, because again, I haven't focused at all on these games. What was it, LSU and Mizzou? I think
I've not turned on one single bowl game. If it's not a college football playoff game, I have not turned it on.
It's sad.
And then my Christmas was always good. I'm very grateful for what I have. I don't really need anything. I got my health is halfway decent. It's not the greatest, but I have the wife and kids, and I'm happy. Yeah. So, but what also cherry on top, and I'll hang up. But how about my Michigan new coach? His name is, and I'm going to change his name. It's going to be Kyle Winningham.
There you go.
To do it. I knew he
was.
So
yeah. I think we got a home run, fellas. We're going to be back big time.
All right. Well, good stuff for you.
And you know what? I like the guy. He's an older guy like me. Takes care of himself. Exercises. Got a nice family and everything. Yeah, I like this guy.
Definitely a good pickup. Appreciate you, Wolverine Dan. I hope you have a great rest of the year. We got the phone calls coming in, but Bama Brad is on with us. Joe, I'll let you take this one.
What's going on, Bama Brad?
Oh, good morning, brother. How are you doing?
Doing good, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I hope you and the family had a great Christmas. Couple of things here. First of all, as far as the SEC bowl games that Mr. Wolverine mentioned there, nobody cares about the bowl games anymore. The only ones that count are the championship games. These bowl games are getting meaningless more every day, unless you're playing in the CFC. Second of all, the Bama situation, I went back and forth thinking about this game. And, they keep talking about the rushing game for Indiana and Heisman quarterback and all that. And honestly, I picked Indiana to win the game earlier in my bowl. But the more I sit there and think about this, who would you rather play right now? Would you rather play Indiana or would you rather play Georgia? We went to Georgia and their rushing attack is just about as good as what Indiana's is.
Yeah.
So, if we can get a little bit of a rush going, the ball's going to be wet probably. It's going to be raining the way they talk. There's going to be a ground and pound game. But we're due for a breakout rushing game. I just, the more I think about this, we got a chance in this thing no matter what anybody says.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a chance, and we appreciate that call, Bama Brad. And it is interesting, Joe. You look at this game and you think, well, yeah, I mean, Alabama did have that win against Georgia early on in the season, but then again, they went to Atlanta, neutral site, in quotes, and got absolutely stomped. I don't know if that was the same Alabama team that we saw earlier on in the season, but I think that what we saw at the end of that Oklahoma game definitely gives us a little bit more hope that this might be a little bit more of a challenge.
This is going to be difficult because you have Georgia that's already played Alabama once, and that's the reason why they did what they did against Alabama, because I think that they played kind of similarly to what Oklahoma should have done, or I should say what Alabama did do against Oklahoma, and it was, hey, they beat us at home. We should not have lost that football game. All right, let's go ahead and they're a little bit more focused.
Yeah.
I still don't believe in this rushing attack. I just don't. Look, there's been times where Jam Miller's been great. There's been times when Hill has been great, but there's not been consistency. And I just don't think that you're going to magically garner consistency against the number 2 defense in the country.
Yeah. Going to be a tough one, and Drew DeArmond from Talkin Ball is going to be helping talk about every single advantage that Alabama could possibly pull out to try and get the win Thursday at 3 o'clock. Again, on our airways, you're going to be able to listen to all of the playoff games from this week. It sure is a doozy. You're not going to want to miss a second of it. For the bowl games, I see why people aren't really following up. Yes, the Big Ten is 5-0. It's spectacular, but do I really care about Virginia versus Missouri? Do I think that LSU really cares about what they're doing against Houston?
I didn't even know that bowl games have been played.
Yeah, there's still a bunch more, and we're going to be having them on our airways, so look forward to that. But second hour coming up next, you're on the Blitz.
Phone lines are open now. 256-576-4977. This is the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship in insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. And check us out at cpcfamily.org.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery, that's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
AL cert number 21014.
Ah, bah humbug! We don't need no heat this holiday season!
But Mr. Scrooge, Talent Heating and Air Conditioning has free service calls with a repair.
Oh, no free calls! No heat, no cold for you!
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning even has TVA rebates where they'll send you a paper check.
Who's this Talent Heating and Air people? Ah, bah humbug!
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning is a real local company that'll come out and fix your unit often in the first day.
Oh, we don't need local!
Give them a call at 256-503-4490.
Oh, who again?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, or find them online at talenthuac.com.
Then a toast, my love, my dearie, to our Merry Christmas. God bless you.
God bless us. God bless us.
This is Brent Musburger's VSIN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
The Atlanta Falcons beating the LA Rams 27-24 on Monday night, improving to 7-9 Sunday at home against the New Orleans Saints. Kirk Cousins with a touchdown pass to Bijan Robinson, and Robinson ran for 195 yards and had a rushing score as well. Falcons defense also intercepted Matt Stafford 3 times, returning 3.2 against New Orleans, minus 162 on the money line. The Saints plus 136, and the over under 43.5. For VSIN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your Fox 54 weather.
Current Chief Meteorologist Dorton Dressman. Another cold night across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures dropping into the mid and upper 20s. A mostly sunny sky for your New Year's Eve. We are going to be a little bit warmer. Temperatures climbing consistently into the upper 40s and lower 50s, dropping into the lower 30s as we head into the overnight early Thursday morning. A partly sunny by Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 50s.
Your Fox 54 weather. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Log on today. 977ESPN.com. Joe Hunk, John Abraham, 256-576-4977. Welcome to the Blitz.
All right, second hour, final hour, best hour, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you on a Tuesday. Just randomly decided to show up on your radio on a Tuesday as we are getting ready for the college football playoff. We figure tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Nobody's going to be doing anything. And then obviously on New Year's Day is the football game. So Tuesday is going to be the best day to do this. especially with all of the Huntsville City Classic action that we had yesterday on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. John Abraham is back in the studio, and I am at UAH in SportsMed Arena inside of Spraggins Hall because the UAH women's basketball team has a game coming up in a few hours, 2 o'clock against LaGrange and the LaGrange Panthers, as UAH is going for a record-tying 10th consecutive win today here at Spraggins Hall. So had to be over to the arena a little bit early, and actually the girls are getting a shoot-around going on right now. Is the reason you can probably hear all of that going on behind me.
Oh, is that what happened over there, Joe? I can tell, brother. I really
early morning shoot-arounds, man. The men already came in for theirs, and so now the ladies are on the court getting their shoot-around in, getting ready for this. Is actually kind of funny because Coach had them kind of running around the baseline to get it started. And I was like, man, that's what you do when you've been off for a week to go for Christmas break. That you're just like, okay, I know that we practice, but just want to get you warmed up and loose and ready to go.
Did you put on any pounds during the break? Because I felt like I had probably 3 pounds alone in chocolate this past weekend.
You know, I don't think that I did, and I think that part of the reason for that is because everybody in the house has been sick. I mean, you know, right when we were wrapping up Christmas, my little man got the flu, and then the girls got sick, and everybody was kind of sick. Now, I had my flu shot literally the day before we found out he had the flu, so I've been good. But what was really funny about it was he wrestled in his last tournament at 50 pounds. Right? That's how much he weighed. And this morning we weighed him because he's got another tournament coming up this weekend. He's down to 45 pounds.
Golly, he's in the ultra featherweight class.
I'm telling you, man, like he already was skinny. I mean, but now, I mean, like you're talking skin and bones. I mean, he's tall for a 7-year-old, but at the same time, man, it was like, man, you lost 5 pounds because you were sick and had the flu. Like he did nothing but like drink water and what we call bug juice, which is basically just, you know, Kool-Aid without the sugar. And that's all he drank for like a week straight. And he would just lay in his bed and watch other people play Minecraft because he didn't feel good.
That sounds
so
like
we didn't do much.
Yeah, it sounds like actually a really good break. Spending time watching Minecraft videos. I was playing a little bit of Minecraft, but other games. I had a lot of time
I did as well.
Things that I don't typically do, and one of those was start back up on my college football dynasty as the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders offensive coordinator. And I took the team to the playoffs, and then in the next year, we really fell off because I lost my quarterback, all my wide receivers. And then I was like, I can't do this in Murfreesboro anymore. So I decided to take a job at Mississippi State just to get myself into the SEC. And now I know exactly what the coaches are doing. I have not gone through it like this in a minute. So, you know, it's more interesting now playing these games, now that we literally can simulate how it is to be a head coach or just an offense coordinator inside the college football landscape. And we see it all happening right now. Coaches jumping ship, going to different places just to get better opportunities, even though they probably would have more wins at a different program.
Well, I have my dynasty still going right now with Auburn, and I've only been playing like one game a week or anything. And so we are in the quarterfinals right now of the college football playoff because, again, on the video game, Jackson Arnold is very good, and unlike in real life. And so we're in the quarterfinals, and after every single game in the playoff, you get, you know, job offers. Well, if you accept one of the job offers, then you automatically become the head coach. You don't get to stick around and finish the season with that and all that. So I'm sitting here getting job offers, and I'm like, dude, I'm still coaching in the college football playoff. Like, what are you talking about?
That's crazy. Wait. Yeah. You're not able to coach the rest of the season if you hop out and choose one of those different jobs in the new game?
No. The moment you accept it, you're there. You don't get to finish the season out with your old team.
See, no, what I was able to do was I was going to a bowl game. It was a terrible bowl game. I don't even want to tell you guys which one it was. I think it was.
They're all terrible.
Yeah, they're all terrible. You're right, Joe. But it was a bowl game at New Mexico State, and I chose my job at Mississippi State, and I didn't have to jump ship until that game was over.
It was.
Maybe they just wanted me a little bit more. I don't know.
No, it was every single time I've ever taken a job, the very moment that you accept the job, you automatically are done. And
Wow.
so, so that
You're
was
Lane Kiffin, aren't you?
no, and that's the reason why I haven't taken anything yet. Like, I mean, I've got Auburn in the quarterfinals right now, and I'm like, no, I want to finish this out. I want to go ahead and try to win this. So, so that's what we did. Yes, he and I played a ton of Minecraft over the last 2 weeks, and mainly it was because once Christmas came and Santa brought him a Nintendo Switch, he hasn't put that thing down since then. So now he and I will sit and we'll be working on our worlds side by side, different worlds, and he'll just be on the Switch and I'll be on the PS5.
There you go.
And we'll be working on things, and I'll look over at him because he watches all the YouTube videos and he sees how everything's done, and I'll ask him something like, hey man, how do you create the like roads with just dirt on them? Like, how do you do that where the snow doesn't cover? He's like, oh, that's what you do. Hold on a second, I got this.
He was giving you all the ins and outs of it, dude.
And then once he does it, I'm like, all right, cool, I appreciate it, bro. And then he'll start asking questions about, well, I keep trying to go for diamonds, but my pick is just destroying them. I'm like, all right, well, you got to go get the iron pickaxe. Then once you get the iron pickaxe, then you can go get your diamonds and you can get everything else that you need in your gold. Like, it's all this sort of stuff. So, those are some of the things that he and I do together. So we're able to kind of hang out with that. And last night he had like his very first wrestling practice since he's been sick. And I'm just like, God, you're going to be in a totally different weight class. You're going to be like a foot taller than everybody else this weekend because you're going to be down in the lower weight class now because of how much you have not eaten over the course of the last few days. And what's great about it is I used TikTok just this morning, and I found a recipe for, we all know what I mean when I say this, the white Mexican cheese dip that you get from the Mexican restaurants.
Yeah, queso.
Well, they say queso, but you gotta say yellow or white at some places. My son will only eat the white. He will not eat the yellow.
Interesting.
And so I found out how to make that. So now I know how to make the white cheese dip so that we can make him get him eating a little bit more so he can put some more weight on. And so that means that when we get ready for all these college football playoff games that are going to be happening tomorrow night and on New Year's Day, that's going to be our food of choice now for him on this. And it's going to be a full day. I mean, look, you're waking up at 11 a.m. on New Year's Day, and you're going to have college football playoff games. And I was serious. I have not paid attention to a single bowl game that's happened now.
And Joe, I'm gonna cut you off because it's getting very loud on your end. But you're right. I mean, these bowl games haven't had too much of the same oomph that they used to have, where everybody was like, oh, well, which conference is going to come out on top and all of that. But now, I mean, we're letting these games kind of go by us, and we're not even really paying attention to them. Now, tomorrow, though, there is going to be some reason to be watching some of these games because we will get that Miami versus Ohio State matchup to start off the second round, and that game will be a lot of fun. And I want to know the listeners' opinions on all things that are coming this upcoming week, which, again, this starts tomorrow, goes into Thursday, and it's all because the NFL schedule is wonky going into these last few weeks. And I hate it. I feel like it should be the other way around because the NFL games now don't mean as much because the playoff picture is already pretty much set in stone. But I do want to know the listeners' opinions on all of it. 256-576. 97.7 is the number to get in. And we'll go to Jake real quick before we get into our conversation with Drew DeArmond from Talkin Ball. Jake, how you doing today, sir?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
We are doing great, and I know Joe is doing even better because he's got basketball in front of him. It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
I hear it over there, man.
the Subway Surfers that you're watching while you're watching the football game. That's how it is.
Man, listen, fellas. I started with on the last show, man. I didn't really get to finish my calls, but I'm trying to take. I need your help, John, because I respect you, man. I respect your opinion, man.
I appreciate it.
I'm taking off these crimson colored glasses, right? What I've seen, like I said earlier, man, it seemed like just even our conditioning was better. We had guys standing tall. We looked deep. We looked sound. Even in a where we came out looking terrible at the beginning of it. But at the end of that game, and I'm not just saying it because we won, at the end of that game, Ty had a different kind of look in his eye. I don't know if y'all remember when the Florida State game, he looked like a freshman on a senior varsity team. You know, he looked deep in the headlights, look, and that's exactly what when I told my wife, I said, if we will get on Mateer's head, it'll change the whole game. And I swear to God, man, it's like they flipped. Mateer's that cocky, all switch, and Ty was on top of everything. He looked like he had a swagger about him. And our defense is loaded, man. Am I not? Am I tripping here about our defense getting better and better and better and better and better?
I don't think you're wrong about that. And I think that is the one strong point of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Obviously, the injuries were a big deal in these last few weeks, but now allow a little bit more shirt up going into this game, and that's thankful for that break in between. But I do think that the more consistent team is going to be Indiana, but I think that the stronger team might still be the Crimson Tide. It's just whether they're going to play the right type of football against a team that they haven't seen in quite some time in the form of Indiana. So it's an unknown opponent. So you're going to have to, try different things to make it work. But I will say this, this is a team that has made it work. And even, whenever they're down 17 points or maybe more, we've seen them rally back, which is something I didn't know if this Alabama team was capable of, especially coming out of Georgia.
I agree. Well, what do you think about? Okay, so if we get the run going, I mean, Jam looked.
It's a big
about
if.
He looked about 75%.
Yeah.
He looked about 75%, and I think DeVore is a little bit positive all the time, but I think he's been honest lately, and he's like, man, look, Jam is 100%. He's better than I've seen him in a while. Right now, we are healthier than we have been in a long time, and I'm sure Indiana has got a lot of players that they have lost back.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, Indiana has got this attitude where, and I like it. I really do. I like Mendoza's attitude. I like that attitude that we're fixing to beat Bama. But they've gotten cocky, fellas, and I think that a lot of people say they want Bama until they get Bama. And I know we haven't been, juggernaut like we have in the past. But, man, I like this team, the hustle, the grit. I mean, they were flying around to the ball. I was so fired up the last game. It was unbelievable. Because I seen a different look in the team's eyes. They looked like they were hungry.
No doubt.
Am I wrong on that?
It did look like a hungry team. That second half, they did totally turn things around. And it started in the second quarter. But again, you got to go back to that rushing game. If you think that there is any way that Alabama's rushing game is going to turn around in this game, and it'll be the first time that it's happened all season, then I think you'll be wrong. I think we're looking at a team that can rush the ball against some fair weather defenses, and an Alabama team that has been going up against the best of the best in these last few weeks. And it shows on the stat book. I mean, you run the ball. He has progressed.
All year long.
And he can look.
Jam. You put a healthy Jam with Cam Dewberry back healthy and a healthy offense. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just fired up about it because Daniel Hill has gotten. He could start anywhere in the SEC. Right now, I think he could start anywhere in the SEC. He's still young and got to progress, but man, you get him and Jam Boza and rotating them, man. Come on, man. It's gonna be a better rushing attack, I think, than in previous week. Man.
It really seems like it should be a match made in heaven. I just look back at the stats. 25 rushing attempts in that last game, and the average yards per rush was 1.1, I think, and that is being a little bit nice. But I do hope that things can turn around. But again, that's a lot of hope that goes into it. And it's not about the running back sometimes. Most of the time it's not. It's about that line.
We are gonna have to play our best game all year long, in my opinion.
No doubt.
The best, and I'm not just saying it's the number one team. I'm saying we have to play our best game mentally, physically. We're all back as a team now. Because they're going to give us hell. This is Alabama they're playing, and people get hungry playing Alabama than they do any other team.
I
think we're going to have to get. Go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to the uncertainty around what Indiana is against an SEC team is what I think is going to be the biggest role. Both of these quarterbacks very similar. I think Fernando Mendoza has done the best that he could do in a very speedy Big Ten. I mean, he's just had his way against defenses at times, but of course a little bit of a falter at this point in the season. But still, 28 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Man,
I mean, another year, you could look at this guy and he could possibly he could be a Heisman Trophy winner, but it just was not this year, just because of the way that Alabama played in these last few games.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do you think about Cam Coleman?
Oh, I'll let Joe answer that one because he's the Cam Coleman guy.
Joe said it. He was gone. Joe said it.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying that he's going to be fully gone from Auburn. And look, he absolutely has the right to. And in this day and age, why wouldn't you test the market when you're being told you're the number one wide receiver in the country and you've had to deal with what you've had to deal with in Auburn? If you're only going to have one more season left of college football before you go to the pros, do you want to take the risk of doing that under a new head coach at Auburn, or do you want to go somewhere like an Ohio State, like a Michigan, like a Texas, or Texas Tech or Texas A&M, where you know what you're going to be getting so that you can actually put the best stuff on film?
John, let me ask you, and I'm not hating, man. I really not. 28 players so far. Okay, in this portal type of game that we're trying to adjust into, is that a really, really big deal that all the defensive line is transferred?
Are you talking about with Auburn?
Yes,
No,
yes.
no,
I'm asking him. Being in this portal,
it's it's the most in the SEC, and the SEC does have a lot just kind of scattered throughout, and we appreciate that. But it is one of those things. This is college football. It's changing. Whenever you get a new coach, some of these guys just don't click initially with their new guy. And Alex Golish, maybe he's wanting to bring in a different type of squad that'll change things around. I just think that this is the way that college football is now, and I hate it because people can jump, to a different school, whenever they want. But I think with a few more of these borderlines that they're going to throw out there, it might help fix a little bit of what the transfer portal is. But you guys are still, Auburn's losing like 25 plus people, and then you see other teams that are losing like 15 to 20, and that it's a big number. Texas is losing a majority of their team too. It's really about who is actually going to play in the first place, and then who is actually like a fundamental piece. For Auburn, they're losing a lot of those fundamental pieces that'll help them get to the end of the season with a good record behind them. But there's a lot more conversation to be had on the other side of this segment. Of course, Drew DeArmond going to be joining us in just a moment here on the Blitz. So stay tuned for all of the conversation to ensue as we get things closed out on this this year, 2025, on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Joe Hunk, John Abraham. You can watch the Blitz live now on X at 97.7 ESPN.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family-friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports.
What's up?
Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way.
Because I'm sitting right above the court where we always do podcasts from.
Now,
and so when I'm quiet,
let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports, good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Yeah. Do I need to turn
call a plumber for a root canal? Same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
Well-informed truck and SUV buyers wait all year for this moment because they know the year-end deals are worth the wait. Hi, folks. Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford, and these are the final days of our year-end sales event. We've got nearly 700 new Fords ready for you. And all
try this. I'm gonna try
come with an additional $1,000 final days bonus cash. Drive home with no payments for 90 days, plus get financing as low as 0% for 60 months on the 25 F-150, Explorer, Escape, Transit Van, and the Lightning. Or choose one of our zero-down 36-month leases starting at just $349 on our most popular models. Plus 2 years of complimentary maintenance. First payment due at signing, no security deposit, plus tax, tag, title, and fees with approved credit. Offer ends 12/31. This is as good as it gets. No payments for 90 days, 0% for 60 months, and no money down, $349 leases. The end of the year is here, and we've got the deals that make that wait worthwhile. Only at Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Don Wessels, and we can't wait to see you.
No Wi-Fi? How are we going to stream the game?
Mom, I have a research project due.
How are we going to make dinner?
Don't let power outages send your family into a meltdown. Get a Generac generator from Current Electrical. We keep your lights on and your Wi-Fi on. Visit gensuperstore.com or call 256-880-1880. Trust us, your family will thank you.
Most current way to keep your power on. GeneracSuperstore.com.
AL cert number 21014.
Bah humbug! We don't need no heat this holiday season.
But Mr. Scrooge, Talon Heating and Air Conditioning has free service calls with a repair.
Oh, no free calls. No heat, no cold for you.
Talon Heating and Air Conditioning even has TVA rebates where they'll send you a paper check.
Who's this Talon Heating and Air people? Bah humbug.
Talon Heating and Air Conditioning is a real local company that'll come out and fix your unit often in the first day.
Oh, we don't need local.
Give them a call at 256-503-4490.
Oh, who again?
Talon Heating and Air Conditioning, or find them online at talenthac.com.
Then a toast, my love, my dearie.
All right, John.
Well, Merry Christmas. God bless.
God bless us.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
All right, welcome back into the Blitz. Joe Hunk, John Abraham. John, do I sound better this time?
Oh, you sound better. Are there people running around on the floor right now? Is it squeaky out?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, see, so
I don't hear any of it.
Yeah, see, at some point in time, my computer decided that it knew better than I did about what microphone I should be using, and so it swapped over to the microphone that was on the laptop, which is the reason why you were able to hear the ladies and them going now. So what I just did is I went through, and now I have fixed what my my webcam, or I should say, fix my audio issue. So now we're good to go.
Well, I think along with the listeners, we can all say thanks for fixing that. I don't know.
That's my bad, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's technology's bad. We'll blame
technology's best. Yeah.
We can always do that, unless it's a committee of people inside of your computer that are picking. No, I'm not going to get into that. We have
definitely did not choose the best one when you're talking about committees.
No, they did not. And we haven't got to recap too much of those games, but why would we? I mean, we already knew what was going to happen. Oregon was going to win their game, and then on top of that, the rest of it was already history. Ole Miss, also had a little bit of a game that they could just ease through, but now we're really into the thick of it, and it's a lot of the fun games that I'm very excited to watch, and I won't be taking my eyes away from any of these games all throughout these next few days. And to help preview a little bit more about them is Drew DeArmond from Talkin Ball, presented by Mercury Motors and Alumni Hall. Drew, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, guys. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. It's great to be back on with you. Another Huntsville City Classic in the rearview mirror, but it was another great one. It was probably as competitive a tournament as I've been a part of, as far as so many close games, and it was a great 4-game run for Huntsville, winning their second title in 3 years, and probably as tough as I can remember because none of the games were easy. They beat Buckhorn in game 1 by 10, and it was actually a lot closer than that. Buckhorn played really good basketball under Cody Martin, and then they were able to beat a lead team that's resurgent, under Greg Brown's leadership and his staff. They're really talented. They got some key transfers, and they've got some really good guard play over there. It was a 2-point win, 67-65 for Huntsville. And then just a game that really looked like the Sparkman Senators had Huntsville where they wanted them. They dominated the second quarter, built a nice lead at halftime, and then still led by 3 at the end of the third. But Huntsville was able to finally subdue Sparkman late and steal that game 62-60 against a team that just goes to show you how tough Huntsville's area is going to be in 7A Area 7. They haven't played an area game yet. Sparkman will be a part of that, as well an Albertville squad that's really, I think, building, and from what I understand, is much improved this year. And then Grissom, you got Jack Doss coaching them. That's all you need to know. But again, Huntsville was able to beat a really good Oxford team last night that was, minus Jalen Taylor, one of their starters, but still very, very good. And, Jalen Alexander, their lead guard, is the best guard in the tournament since LeBaron Philon. And we've all figured out how good Philon is for Alabama. But he's going to Belmont. He's a special player. And Huntsville was able to subdue him with Evan Toms earning MVP. And, Joe grew up around here. And I know you spent a lot of your high school years in Tennessee, John, but Joe knows who I'm referring to here when I say this, because he's one of the greatest players in city and Madison County history. But the late great Marvin Stone, this run by Evan Toms as a big man, was the best I've seen in this tournament since Marvin Stone led his Grissom Tigers to the championship in '99, and he was completely dominant before he went to the University of Kentucky and then Louisville. And Evan Toms averaging 25 points a game over the 4-game run, scoring 100 points, was dominant. He's an old school big, and he and Graham Gossett, brother of JD, who's a sophomore, who had 20, and Cam Carney, who did all the dirty work, Tyson Bobick. Those guys, they did a great job, and Huntsville was able to have a great fourth quarter and pull away from an Oxford team that I think is going to be a state championship contender in 6A. It was another great 3-day event with an off day in between. But we just want to thank everyone, thank our sponsors for allowing 97.7 The Zone to be the voice of the Classic. And it was another great tournament that'll be etched in people's memories for a long time.
Well, no, you mentioned Marvin Stone, Drew, and look, Marvin Stone's the reason why when I saw him play when I was like in 7th and 8th grade and he was a senior, that's the reason why I thought that all at that time 6A high schools, this is how you had to look, because that man was just an absolute beast. Like, he was just different, which is the reason why I went to Kentucky. But at the same time, we saw this, and I talked about this at the beginning of the show. The semifinals, the amount of people that were inside of that arena for both of those semifinals games, it was packed. To me, is the most packed I've ever seen, but you've been to a lot more of these than I have. What was the most packed that you've ever seen that gym for Huntsville City Classic?
Well, I'll go back to it. It's ironic you asked that question, Joe, because if y'all, I know you guys were listening, and John was there in the arena, and we honored a legend at halftime. We do that every year, and this year we honored Trevor Lacey, who, of course, was a great, great player, before, just right at the end, before the 2010s, in 2008, 2009 at Butler High School, and was a 2-time Mr. Basketball, 2-time state champion. He won 2 Huntsville City Classics. He played in 3 finals. In his senior year, they won the Huntsville City Classic, and I mentioned this to, Matthew Schmitz, the PA announcer, great friend of mine, and he put this in his soliloquy that he wrote about Trevor when we honored him at halftime. It's the only time I can ever remember this happening, and I agree with you, Joe. Those crowds were outstanding. The really the most of the first day and the second day. The semifinals were absolutely packed. It was standing room only. I was pleasantly surprised, and kudos to the Huntsville City Schools for pushing back the finals an hour yesterday. It was still a very, very good crowd, even though Oxford was from out of town. A lot of people were excited to see Jalen Alexander and that team compete, and it was a near capacity crowd. But the thing I'll never forget about Trevor Lacey, and this has never happened, Joe and John, in my memories, is Trevor was such a rock star, and that Butler team with him and Justin Cootie Pride, who's now an assistant coach at James Clemens for Frankie Sullivan. Every session, guys, and you have to win 4 games to win it all. All 4 games for the Butler Rebels, they had to shut it down in the main gym with the fire marshal because it was an absolute standing room only zoo that everybody was seeing. And then as Matt pointed out, as you guys know, it's either an hour and a half or an hour before tip-off for the finals when they open the doors. I think back in those days it was an hour and a half. 57 minutes before tip-off of Trevor Lacey's final game in the Classic, they shut it down because it was so packed. And Butler went on to win that championship. So that was an amazing, week or weekend, the 3 days. It was just to see so many people there. But I'll just say this. I've been doing it, guys. I'm going to date myself. I'm 50 years old. I've done 35 Classics in a row.
Wow.
And I've done it since I was 15. And there's nothing like the semifinals and the championship game. There's nothing like the energy in the gym and the juice. And I told this to Coach Joel Van Meter and some Oxford people yesterday, and I still think they can win a 6A state championship. And I told this to Bo Starkey, who does a great job, over there in Calhoun County and covering those teams for Average Joe Sports Talk. I said, because this was one of his first Classics, and maybe his first. And I told him, I said, I'm going to tell you how good this tournament is, and this will put it in perspective. Everybody knows that Caleb Holt is going to be a lottery pick and is arguably as talented a player that's ever come out of Madison County. And he played 3 years at Buckhorn. He won 2 straight titles. We did Bucks basketball. He won 2 state championships as a freshman and sophomore. Here's how tough the Classic is. Caleb Holt never won a first-round game. They went into the losers bracket every time because the competition is so good. Yeah. So in many cases, in my opinion, winning the Huntsville City Classic over a 3-day period is as tough as winning a state championship. And if you can win a tournament like that, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win a state title by any stretch, but it certainly shows that you're capable of doing that. And this young Huntsville team that lost so much experience and talent, with the 5 starters that are all playing college basketball from a year ago, they lost 7 seniors. They've reloaded and they've got a chance to make another run. Certainly Oxford does too, but the Huntsville City Classic is a very, very special event. It was another great one over the 26th, 27th, and then 29th yesterday.
Yeah, no doubt. You, Joe, Steve, Scott, all of you guys did a great job covering every second of that. But let's get into a little bit of the college football playoffs. Of course, starting tomorrow, Miami, Ohio State's going to be a very fun-looking game. But there's a lot more to be had the next day with Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, and, of course, Oregon versus Texas Tech. Let's start with the Crimson Tide, though. What do you think the Tide need to do to kind of shore up a victory against Indiana? Is there just one thing, or is there multiple? But I want to know, from a tier list, what do you think is the most important to stop with Indiana's just very talented team?
Well, I mean, they've got to do a good job in special teams again. They can't give away easy scores or field position to the Heisman Trophy winner in Mendoza. Fernando Mendoza is such a great player. I mean, they can't make it easy on them. They can't make mistakes in the kicking game. It needs to be even, or they need to win it, because stunningly they won it against Oklahoma after losing it so decisively on November the 15th in that first matchup. So they've got to do a good job in the kicking game. No question in my mind. I think they have to be better on third down in this game. They're only 2 for 12 But that goes back to this next point is, to me, I think that they have to do a good job and make some explosive plays on offense. I said that going into the Oklahoma game that they needed to create 2 40-plus yard plays. Well, they didn't quite do that, but they created 5 20-plus yard plays, including a 29-yard run. So they have to do that against Indiana. They got to create some explosive plays, no doubt about it. And then they have to win the turnover battle. And see, the amazing thing about Indiana and their efficiency is they've only turned it over 8 times all year.
Dang.
6 interceptions from Mendoza, 1 from his brother, and then 1. They've only lost 1 fumble all year, guys. So if Alabama can create a couple of turnovers, that's like creating 4 or 5 against somebody else.
No.
So if they can create a couple of mistakes, they won the turnover battle 1-0 against Oklahoma, but you know what that one was? It was Zabian Brown to the house, and it was a huge play in the game. So they've got to create a couple of turnovers, win the turnover battle, and it looks like it's going to be rainy, so, ball security is going to be a key. And then, and like I said, they need to create those explosive plays. And then another, thing that I think they have to do, if you want to give them a fourth big key, is I think, they really, in my opinion, they have to do a nice job of, to me, they've got to be efficient. And I think overall, they have to make Indiana earn everything they get. They can't give up any explosive plays. They have to tackle well, keep guys in front of them. And I just think they need to put game pressure on Indiana. I think they've got to give themselves an opportunity in the fourth quarter. And then, Penn State put Indiana against the wall, but then they couldn't finish it. They came very close in doing so. Probably should have won that game, but that's what Alabama's going to have to do. In other words, the fourth thing, and just to put it in a nutshell, is I think Ty Simpson has to outplay Mendoza. He outplayed Mateer after that slow start, and it's a money game for Ty to trying to prove his pro worth. He's going to have to do that. And if he does that, that means they're playing complementary football, and Alabama needs to be able to create, whether it's via Ty's legs. They're going to get Kevin Riley back, it looks like. Riley, Daniel Hill, Jam Miller, the wide receivers, they need to create about 100 rushing yards. Look, Indiana's really good on defense and at the line of scrimmage. They're not going to run it great, but if they can pop a run or if they can create 100 yards, to me that means they're sustaining drives. And it also means that the time of possession, which they lost decisively against Oklahoma, but if they're able to do that on the ground, it means that I don't think there'll be a ton of discrepancy in the time of possession, which means Alabama's right there in the game. And if you do that, I think it gives you a good chance to win. Now, you're going to have to certainly, be consistent, and you're going to have to do a good job up front, because I was asked this, like, what part Alabama needs to play their best game of the year to win this, in my opinion, and what position group is going to have to play their best game? I think it's got to be the offensive line. The offensive line has to protect Ty yet again. And I mean, I don't think they're going to keep him clean the whole game, but for the majority of the game, they need to do that. And they need to find a way to run the football. And if they can do that against a really good Indiana defense, then I think they go give themselves a chance. I think it's going to be close. I picked Alabama 21-17 to find a way. And this is, in this case, I'm hoping that Alabama's strength of schedule will help them in this matchup. Indiana against the opponents that were considered high level, all those games went down to the fourth quarter, and I think this one will too in Pasadena in a couple of days.
No, definitely will be interesting. Alabama, Indiana, winner of that game will go to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl to face off against the winner of the Capital One Orange Bowl. Now, I'm not going to talk prep about that with you, but I do want quick opinions on that Ole Miss-Georgia game as Ole Miss faces off against yet another team they've already seen this year, but this time in the playoffs. Real quick, how do you think this one's going to play out?
Well, I mean, I'll even give you. We made picks at the end of the show. I mean, I'll freely admit I haven't seen a ton of Oregon or Texas Tech, but something in my gut tells me that Texas Tech defensively and the havoc they can create are going to find a way to win a close one against Oregon, 27-24. I've got Ohio State decimating Miami. I think it's going to be like a 31-10 game. I don't believe in the Hurricanes. And then in that game you're talking about with Georgia and Ole Miss, I know Ole Miss had a legit shot to win in Athens, but I think this Georgia team continues to evolve. And while Ole Miss did a great job against Tulane, I don't see them beating the Dogs when it matters most. I think Georgia's going to find a way to win. I think that, and I don't think it's going to be a domination kind of deal, but I do think, I think I said something like 34-20. I think the Dogs will pull away late, and I don't think Ole Miss has a dominant defensive group, but I do think they're good offensively, and they can cause Georgia some problems. And I think it may even be a pro, Ole Miss crowd in New Orleans, but I like Georgia to march on. And if you had to tell me a favorite right now for the national championship, to me, I think Georgia's a favorite, or maybe the favorite, because of the way they continue to get better. And certainly, I think Alabama being healthier and as healthy as they've been in a while should help them against Indiana. Just hope they can navigate the rain, guys, because it looks like it's going to be a wet track in Pasadena.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Both of those teams love to pass the football, so we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. But Drew DeArmond has been our guest for the final time this year. Drew, appreciate you as always, man. I hope you enjoy the rest of the week, and hopefully we could be talking on a little bit of a positive note whenever we get back from the break.
Absolutely, guys. Happy New Year. It's great to be on with you. Have a good call today, Joe. I know you're over there at UAH, and I got some hoops going on today, but always great to be on with you guys. Appreciate it.
Very nice.
Thanks, bro.
Great stuff from Drew, as always. We hit a break. You guys could get in on the conversation. 256-576. 97.7 is the number to hop on for the last segment of the year. This one is actually Joe, we're right about this. This is the last. We're not coming back tomorrow and doing a show, are we? No, we're not.
No. This is the last segment of the year. Yeah, 2025. This is 100% the last segment
of the year. Coming up next here on the Blitz on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
This is The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. 256-576-4977.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the play.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, last segment, best segment, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe Hunk, John Abraham with you for the next little bit. In fact, for the next 6 minutes, which will be the final 6 minutes of the show in 2025. And then coming up here in just a little while, 2 o'clock, UAH women's basketball. You can watch it on Flow Sports as the ladies are going for to tie the school record in 10 consecutive wins, which they did back in 2020 before they get back into conference play for the remainder of the season. John, you were talking about what you got for Christmas, and so I brought what I got for Christmas.
It was a hydraulic jack for anybody who missed it. I'm very much looking forward to using it. Jack stands, I'm going to actually send them back. I'm going to send them back. And I know it's ungrateful. It's very bad. They're a little bit cheaper, and I want some more safety. And also I want a cover for my car. So, those are just the bare minimum stuff.
Yeah, I was gifted this right here.
Why? Heck yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about. He's got DJ Mike.
Yeah, I was actually, these are our wireless mics. If you ever watch like YouTube videos or TikToks or Instagram videos, you always see somebody having like a wireless mic.
Yeah.
These are actually magnetic. So I say that because one thing that we've been trying to figure out here at UAH is trying to figure out how we can get our PA announcer his voice clearly through our sound system, so you're not just listening to the ambiance. And as I was sitting here, John, I thought to myself, when the show wraps up, I'm going to test this.
Yeah.
See if I can put one of these wireless mics down right in front of the PA announcer and just see if there's a way for us to be able to utilize this during our broadcast. So we're going to use this as kind of a guinea pig for the day and go in something like that. So yeah, that was my Christmas presents. I actually got it because my son has been wanting to do a video game stream with me for the longest time. And so the wireless mics will be a lot easier for us to use when doing that because we move around a lot. And so trying to stay right in front of a microphone may not be the best option. So I'm going to test this on the computer, and then he wants to do a video game stream, which I'm assuming means that we're going to be playing Minecraft together. I have a feeling that.
I will definitely be watching it, Joe, whenever that does happen. That's an awesome gift. First things first. And I mean, that's going to help out not just with like the PA announcing, but also, those videos that you do for UAH as well.
Absolutely.
With players, that's going to be perfect. It's going to sound so good. It's going to look great. And it's funny that you showed me those. I have my own, but also my brother. I suggested him to get some because he's doing car videos. He's got a Corvette. It's very loud and all that stuff.
Yep.
And it's they're magnetic. So what he did, we just like thought of this idea where we can magnetize it to the back window, and you could just hear the exhaust perfectly. So, and he's flying down the road, and it doesn't move, it doesn't budge, it just catches the audio, and it's so cool.
Yeah, I think that with this, my wife, because she always I gave her all these ideas, but you guys know, I mean, I pretty much buy whatever I need or I want or anything along those lines. Yeah. And so I was just throwing stuff up against the wall. I was like, hey, look, like if you've got to get something, then get this. Now, she was also awesome, and she bought me a brand new gaming chair as well. Yeah, this one's got like the footrest and all this other stuff on it. So I haven't even gotten to use it yet, because the recliner that we had in the living room, well, that's where the Christmas tree is. So we moved the recliner into my office. And so I've been sitting in the recliner playing video games. It's a tough life. And so that's what I've been doing for last week. So my gaming chair is just sitting over in the corner. I haven't even gotten to test it out or anything yet. It was that, and it was the wireless mics for this. And yeah, you're right. All these videos that we do pregame, all the interviews, all that sort of stuff, it's going to be a lot easier, and it's going to sound a lot better when doing a lot of this stuff now that I do have those, because now, when Steve talks to a coach or something, he can just put the mic right on him, and it's good to go, and it's going to, the quality is going to be even better. So so that's what I'm going to test out before the game that we have going on here just a little bit. And so it was, Christmas was fun. It was different. And again, there's a lot of things internally that I told you I can't really talk about that much, but it was pretty cool. It was awesome. And it was my youngest daughter's first Christmas. It was my middle child's second Christmas, but the first one where she actually like understood what was going on. So that was kind of fun. So that was really good. And John, you sent me a picture of like, I don't know, the entire city of Winchester over at your at Tom's house. So it was. I know that you had a blast.
That was only some of my family, actually, but regardless, we're all going to be getting together and having an even bigger Christmas in the new year, which is awesome, because now I kind of know what Hanukkah's all about, except for it's only 2 days instead of the 7.
Oh, you get 8 crazy nights.
Is it 8? Did I mess
it's
it up?
8 nights. You have the candles are 8. All right, before we get out of here, though, John, because I know we only have a couple of minutes left. College football playoff, we're going to have one game tomorrow night. We've got 3 games happening on New Year's Day. How are you feeling about each one?
I'm thinking it's going to be pretty cut and paste, man. I look at the one that might be the hardest to choose. We got the music that just hit. I think would be that Texas Tech-Oregon game, but I just think that Oregon has the ability to come out on top. I think they make more explosive plays happen. Both of these teams do. They sit in the top 10 at 20-plus yard plays. But I just think Oregon's going to step up and be able to achieve something that Texas Tech really would like to. And also, one of these teams in this round that had a bye has to lose. And I think that's going to be Texas Tech. Alabama going to struggle a little bit against Indiana. I hope they keep it a little bit close. And for Georgia and Ole Miss, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. But Georgia, different team ever since they played Ole Miss that first time around. And Ohio State, they're going to have a challenge with that Miami defense. But Julian Saint's just so good. Now we're out of time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're done. See you guys next year.
Indiana winning.
No.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you